Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good morning, I suppose, to somewhere, perhaps. Hey, Wednesday night reclamation time. Ben will be here. He's just gonna be a little bit late. So pay no mind to the empty portrait slot on the right side. I said pay no mind. Um, yeah. Again, hey, let's just get underway. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened last time?
Just as soon as I'm done spamming chat with emotes. Yes, I can.
Oh, great. Mm-hmm.
Um, last time we started with a venture to the Dusty Daisy. The Black Butterfly sang a song. The Immortal Bastion tagged along. They were swept up in the hoopla of it all. That's not the word I'm looking for, but that's the word we're going for.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong, but it's not what I was looking for. Um, Everybody just generally tried to have a relaxing evening. Um, we met up with Titan there as well because he had missed dinner. Lilith, I think, was the first one to leave, if I remember correctly,
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
and went and did a reading about how will this next mission go. And if you want to know more about that reading, go back and watch the previous session. It was insightful and was given the caution that these are guides, not written in stone. They're not oracles. Um, it's kind of funny because I think Audie walked Lucius home and Lucilla walked Roz home.
Mm-hmm.
um, when I think one would imagine it might have gone the other way around, but it didn't. And then everybody slept.
Mm-hmm.
And in the morning, Roz went to the Tyrants and, how do I put it delicately? Was stubborn.
Oh.
And there was some FAFO. She found out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. um, she woke up after that fight. Shouldn't have been alive, but was alive in the Bastion camp with the to find out that Lucius's shield had been damaged, which by the look of it didn't seem like it should have happened. Very much the immovable object meets the unstoppable force. And we haven't seen what the other side looks like yet, though, to be honest. We just know what one side looks like. Audie went to have her meeting with Rieslin and had that conversation. Corona took her time on her hat. It's about half done. We think it looks pretty great. And
Mm.
Titan is also just over halfway on Roz's armor, which she's going to need desperately very soon, presumably. And then we went to the sitrep, and everybody saw Roz. And people have strong opinions about that we're going to get into in this session. And we talked to Covert and got our missions, which we'll also get into in this session. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add?
I think I got everything.
Yeah, concise.
Okay, great. In which case, as not previously mentioned but previously talked about amongst ourselves, we are currently in the middle of the day on the 31st of Mather. Roz has had her world just physically rocked. If she perhaps were not intervened, might actually be in separate pieces of varying sizes. Is currently resting in her tent and being tended to by A1 Lilith. Melody was sitting over yonder near a river,
That
contemplating
was
life. She was sitting by a river. Is who knows what she's up to now. Same for Titan and same for. So basically, we're kind of in the middle of the day. We know where a couple of people are, but just the usual. What, if anything, does anyone want to accomplish with their day?
I do want to ask Corona, how
Mhm.
livid do you look? Like, are you keeping your
Oh
emotions
yeah,
kind of guarded?
thank you. I
Because
was forgetting
if I
something.
recall, Corona looked like she was gonna throw hands at the last episode.
That well, no, that she didn't look that way. I think she probably saw the condition that Roz was in, and then also when Roz said that her sword was taken,
Mm-hmm.
um, and she questioned her about that, that sword's important to you and everything. She I wouldn't say she looked livid, but she definitely looked like she had to put on a bit of a stronger face. I don't think she explicitly said that she was going there, but
She didn't.
I don't think it'd be impossible to connect the dots if anyone was kind of looking at her because she's not really one to hide her emotions anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, with this party's insight,
That might be fair. I don't know the stats. I don't know the numbers.
I mean, I think yours is the highest.
Yeah, not super insightful.
Hmm.
A roll might change that, but oh no, Audie's
Yeah, yours isn't bad.
moderately.
Audie's is a 3 because you have proficiency. But more to the point, I guess I will ask, what is Corona doing? Yeah, I got my memory jarred. We're actually just like post uh, sit rep with Covert and the
Mm,
mercenaries, and everyone kind of parted ways. Rosalind back to camp where she is resting, will eventually be tended to by Lilith. But Corona definitely took a step with purpose.
yep.
So what is Corona doing?
She intends to go take care of that basically as soon as you know where we left off and where we're picking up. Before she works on the hat, before anything happens with the rest of her day, she intends to go talk with the tyrants about that. That said, I know that Ben wanted to also kind of maybe get in on this a little bit, so I don't know.
So I have to put you in the lurch no matter what. Because
Hmm.
if you recall, Titan did not come back
Right.
from crafting. He is still at his forge working on the play mail.
Oh,
Yep.
he
So
hasn't seen Roz
so no
yet.
matter what, yeah, I believe it was said that Lilith was going to go to Titan to report everything that happened at the sit rep, and then also semicolon Roz got wrecked.
Hmm.
So there's a time period between Titan arriving and Corona arriving.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, we don't know when he's going to show up. But don't worry, I will keep that narratively in mind.
Okay. Okay. Then yeah, she otherwise is not really wasting any time. I guess she probably since I doubt I doubt we all have our weapons out when we go to the meeting, unless we're planning to head out right after. So Corona's not stupid. She is going to at least grab her shotgun
Mm-hmm.
um and load it up with 2 shots, but not bring any of the ammunition or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. Um,
Just in case.
just in case, yeah. Um, and I guess she'll also go unarmored. She's just going in her normal casual clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and once she's done with that, she will head off in that direction.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, and I was saying, in which case I have to figure out at least what the other person that I don't know who's doing what is Audie.
For the sake of the narrative, I'm kind of wanting Audie to tag along with Corona. More to the point, she's worried about Roz. Was Corona's stuff
Hmm.
back at camp?
Yes, yes,
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
I would assume we kind of all wander back that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and Audie would I'm picturing it, the cinematic. She's kind of standing behind Corona as she goes to leave her tent. Planning on using that?
What, this? No. Not unless I have to. Why, you got that worried look on your face, too.
She's not right. I mean, I know Roz might have been picking a fight, but she looked like she shouldn't be standing. She looks like she shouldn't be this side of the ground.
I hear you. I'm not going there with the intention to rough 'em up or anything. I'll tell you that much. I know there's a gap between us, so I'm not gonna try and aggravate things if I don't have to. You don't have to worry about me. If that's what this is all about. I'm just going to grab the sword back.
What if they don't let you have it?
Sorry, I didn't understand
Oh,
that.
sorry.
What was that?
She said, "Oh, what if they don't let you have it?"
Oh, if they don't let me have it, then I got a plan for that too.
Need any backup for it?
Well, I was planning on going alone, but if you're that worried, I'm not gonna make you stay here. Won't
Well,
put you in danger either.
let's just say I'd like to go for a bit of a walk. So if you need, whistle, holler. We all know the noises from Tom. So
All right.
basically, the tunes of Greenwood. We know what the alerts are.
Mm-hmm.
Make a
That's
noise and
true.
she'll find someone. So
Okay.
she's gonna be listening in. I mean, maybe not actually listening in, depending on what the wards are on their camp, but she'll be nearby.
Corona just pats her shotgun and says, "Keep an ear out for this."
Okay.
And with that, she'll just say, "Hopefully, I'll be right back in a few minutes." Head on out.
Okay. Well, by this point, the camp is familiar to everybody. You cross over from the west side of the camp through the center lane, heading towards the east side of the camp, where the established mercenary groups are. And you walk down the lane, and you pass by the chapter of fire and the small camp of the League of Phantoms. And then on your left comes up the Immortal Bastion, whose camp is now empty. And shortly thereafter, walking along the picketed fence, you see on the right side Tatiana's Tyrants. With, as seems to be the habit, there seems to be two of the so-called tyrants currently engaged in a duel, a very heated combat, of which you can very clearly see as you're kind of walking up that they are freely and happily drawing blood on one another.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, is there any like main tent or anything that stands out?
Yeah. So the Tyrants campground is also one of the smaller ones, given that their entire company is just under 16 people. Um, there's essentially a large rectangular training field up front
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of got a various pieces of makeshift furniture and crates in which people clearly just like lean on, sit on, and watch.
Mm-hmm.
There are some banners that sort of tap each or pointed at each corner, and then just beyond the training field, there are four lines of tents on either side with a larger tent in the middle.
Okay. Um, if there's space to kind of walk around the ongoing sparring session, uh,
There
Chrono
isn't.
will. There isn't.
Nope.
Okay.
There. So the rectangular shape. So you walk along the fence, the picket line. And then there's an entrance, and it's kind of at the top left corner of the camp, and it takes you into the top left corner of the training field, to which the tents are then behind it.
Oh,
You think
okay.
it's arranged like this on purpose?
Okay, I gotcha.
Here, I can draw up a quick reference just to verify.
Okay.
We got a fence. We've got the big old training field, and then you've got like 4 of these, which are duplicated, and then a big tent there.
Okay.
Kind of like that. So anyone walking along, the only way to get into the tent is through the training field.
Through the training field.
or around the outskirts of it, but you basically can't enter without 2 tyrants clearly visibly seeing you enter.
Okay. Then, in that case, she'll wait, a couple of seconds to see if they, stop their bout or find a spot where they notice her and let her through. She's not impatient about that.
Okay. Honestly, they don't pay you any mind.
Okay.
And the spar goes on for a few minutes.
A few minutes, okay.
Yeah.
Then in that case, she will see. She'll see if she can just find like a spot to kind of like walk around them. They're probably taking a lot of space, and it's an ongoing fight. So
It is, yeah.
she knows
there
she'll
are
have
ripples.
to be on her toes. Yeah. But she's just going to, if she's waited minutes and they haven't paid her any mind, then she's just gonna, instead of standing there arms crossed, she's just gonna step on in and try and go around them. Either that or step on in and make her presence known.
Okay. When you cross the threshold into the camp, neither of them stop fighting, and you're not entirely sure if they've clocked you or not. You probably could suspect they have. But upon your entrance, somebody comes walking out of the large central tent, almost as if they know you crossed into their camp.
Okay.
The individual in question has kind of twilight purple colored skin, a series of sharp bony horns, like 2 rows of them that kind of go up and over the sides of their head. They are completely bald. They have like these lizard-like yellow eyes. They are currently dressed very casually, which, if you've ever walked by the Tyrant's camp, if they're not actively leaving on a mission, they're almost always dressed down in a series of, very basic, like linen and cotton clothing of their colors, black, silver, white. But this person does walk out with a long staff that they're kind of just like walking and leaning on quite a bit. And they make very pointed eye contact with you, and with the end of the stick, we'll just sort of like use it to gesture around the training ground.
Okay. Corona will do that then. She'll go around. That way she's not getting in anyone's way, and try and get closer to that individual there.
Mm-hmm. You could be a little, you're a little careful and cautious, which pays off, because there is one of the crates that's kind of on the outskirts that people use as furniture, kind of gets blown by right in front of your face, tumbling and shattering against the ground just beyond you. They still pay you no mind, but eventually you get there unscathed. The individual will plant the staff into the ground, and then with both hands kind of like heavily lean on it. Yes, all right. For what purpose have you come into the camp?
Well, I'm not here to waste anyone's time. I'm here to retrieve a weapon that was taken from us after a fight that probably shouldn't have happened.
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you that I can't do anything about it. And I will tell you the same thing if you're bold enough to ask to see Tatiana, which is, in order to get it back from her, you're going to have to kill her. It's kind of the rule.
Can I ask whose rule?
Originally established by Styphic and his champion Seshok, the dead god, the soldier. It was considered a right. If you were able to kill one of the members of Dead Company, their organization, immortal beings, it was considered a thing of honor to present to them their weapon with your dying breath.
Sounds simple enough. I understand that.
Mm.
I'm not here to break any rules or traditions, but I gotta ask. The person that she fought, for one, didn't die. Assuming the rule goes both ways.
Well, allow me to point out at least something, which is, I mean, there was an intervention which affected the circumstance, and of course, a relative peace in the camp that we're trying to maintain. It's no good if the factions are fighting amongst themselves. That being said, if you truly wish for your friend to be killed so that way it can be done correctly, I would happily go and finish her off.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm trying to understand what the rules are and why they've been broken. Now, you're trying to help with this war effort, aren't you?
We're here to fight in a war, that's correct.
Right. That weapon helps our group out. Now, I'm gonna admit that, those traditions ain't none of my business. But if you're all willing to essentially sabotage another group's chances of making it out alive from, whatever other war efforts they're trying to do, then I just want that to be known.
He nods a few times. I see where you're coming from. And he kind of wobbles his head back and forth. Except the problem is, and you have to forgive our leader, she's a very prideful person. But the weapon belonged to Dead Company. She is essentially the last inheritor of that title, of those people, of that group. And so, sabotage or not, your friend came in here, issued a challenge.
Probably shouldn't have.
Made a decision. And she is paying for the consequences of it. Fortunately, for all of you, not with her life, but instead with the weapon. So, as much as I can understand where you're coming from, in this place where we are fighting in a war against a very difficult and deadly foe, if we were allies, bonded by blood on the battlefield, it would perhaps be a different consideration, one that perhaps we could talk to Tatiana about. But what happened earlier was a matter of respect. And unless the weapon is taken from her, it is certainly never going to leave her hands now.
Corona thinks on that for a second. She's honestly pretty at ease with this whole situation. She being able to at least talk with someone about it rather than go right to fists. And she'll say, Right. Well, I'll say this. And I know that you might not be able to budge on it because, you know, you might not be the one in charge. And I understand it's a matter of respect. And I appreciate the fact that we can at least talk about it civilly. But if we don't get that weapon back, and soon, then our outings probably won't be successful. That weapon literally, as you might imagine, saved some lives. So, I don't know how to put this, because I don't mean it as a threat whatsoever. I guess it's more of just informing you that if we can't get it back, then I'll have no choice but to at least inform the ones that are in charge of this covert gang, or whoever it might be, about it. I'm not going to raise it as an issue, necessarily, at least between our group and your group. Because I think we can at least both agree that the girl probably shouldn't have come out here in the first place and issued that challenge. Right? That's a mistake. But I'm just going to let Covert know. And then what happens from that will happen.
He nods a few times. Makes a thoughtful expression. Well, if those are the steps you need to take, then that's what you have to do. And both parties will have to deal with the consequences of the situation as they come.
Sounds fair to me.
Hmm?
Well, thanks for hearing me out.
Yeah, no problem. If any more of your party members have a need to come have a conversation about this again, perhaps don't, given that you gambled walking in here once and I was here to talk. If it was Tatiana, you would have ended up like your friend. Just being completely transparent.
I appreciate it.
Hmm?
I was honestly banking on talking to her myself, but I wasn't planning on fighting her in the first place.
I wouldn't either. It's a bad choice. Just, again, the sword thing, the challenge, it's a matter of respect. So if anyone else comes in demanding the weapon from her, she's going to make a point. Hopefully not too many of them.
I understand.
All right.
I think this talk only had to be made once.
Good. Well, thank you for visiting and being so diplomatic.
Same to you.
Hmm.
Name's Corona. Shall I stretch your hand?
He straightens himself up, takes his weight off the staff, and will accept your hand and shake. Thalman.
Thalman. All right. Thank you, Thalman. I'll get out of your hair then. Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I will write that down. But yeah, Corona went there, said what she wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Her business is done. She's not gonna push the subject anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If yep, whatever comes from talking to the higher ups will happen.
Okay. First
So
of all,
she'll try and
no, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say with that she'll probably exit out as carefully as she did enter.
Okay, perfect. In which case, first of all, hey, welcome, Ben.
Welcome.
Hi.
Glad to have you.
Glad I could make it.
Yeah, see, you weren't that late.
Yes, but
just narrowly avoiding disaster. That's all. Speaking of which, It was collectively agreed upon that at some point after the meetup with the Mercs and the whole sit rep there, that Lilith was going to go talk to Titan and tell him about what happened at the meeting and what happened to Roz. Because you were over yonder in crafting land.
Okay.
With that information, does Titan do anything?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna go check on Roz.
Okay. Perfect. In which case, you're going to tidy up your workspace, set aside the project for the time being, and head your way back to camp.
Yep.
At which point there's an intersection coming up. Adi, you were kind of standing off to the side, from a distance, just listening in case anything happened, so you could send up a signal flare to go help Corona. In doing so, there is a point where somewhere along the lines you don't notice it, but Covert ends up next to you with his hands.
I notice once he's next to me.
You notice when he says something. So when you turn and finally look at him, he has his hands planted on his hips. He's dressed the same as normal, and he's like, "Honestly, what is up with all of you and your friends just courting death? What are you doing?"
The bearers put a bell on.
No. You know what my name is, right? Yeah.
We're not the enemy.
No, but I get to make.
Go talk.
Go. No, go on. Yeah, no, this is more important. Go on, tell me.
She wanted to go talk. She wanted to go. She's probably the least emotional out of all of us.
And that's a good thing?
Well, she's diplomatic.
Hmm? Mm-hmm.
And, well, I'm here in case it doesn't go so well. To call you, not to go in myself. I'm not insane. Nor do I wish to die.
All good things. And to be quite honest with you, kind of hard not to pay attention to any of you and your friends wander over to that side of the camp after the altercation earlier. Now, there is a very good reason why my desk isn't, smack dab in the middle of everything.
As much as you say we're all allies, I think it's pretty tentative.
Yeah, I mean, I do use that word pretty generously. Not everyone has to be friends. Just not kill each other if you end up doing something together, which is the bare minimum I'm asking for, and is what some of them are accepting as the bare minimum.
And Roz isn't dead.
So luckily, and only because someone intervened, I really don't think any of you understand how lucky Roz is right now. Roz should be dead. Like,
well, I'm pretty sure out of all of us, Roz understands the most.
Oh, well, yeah, she's going to be feeling that for a couple days to come, which is saying something. All right. Yeah. How about me and you just stand here and just wait and see?
That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I was just inspecting the tents anyway.
Right.
And yeah, she'll try to act casual, just standing there with Covert.
And you're standing there and you're waiting. And somewhere during that time is when you cross paths down through the central lane, where you would see Covert standing with Adi looking out into the eastern side of the camp where the other factions are set up.
Yeah, Titan will stop. How's it going, kid?
Well, we're all this side living.
Good. I heard Roz got herself in a bit of trouble.
Oh, she's also still alive. Thanks to Lucius and Sebastian. Corona's just talking with him now.
there any reason you're standing around with covert staring at the tyrant's camp?
Yeah. Corona's in there talking with the tyrants right now.
I see.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, let me know if you need anything. I'm gonna go check on Roz.
Best hope we don't.
Titan nods.
I'll be along soon.
Covert. Good to see you.
Titan, don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on things.
Titan nods.
Titan, you might want to, bring your whole stock with you. She's really not looking well.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Titan, you head towards the western camp. Corona, you're coming out of the mercenary camp not too long thereafter.
She comes out with her arms crossed, not looking terribly pleased, but she'll spot Audie and Covert out there. Assuming they're not like hidden or anything.
Not like
Nah.
well hidden, like you know how people like obviously are trying to stare at something but do so in
Yeah.
the open. So yeah, it's like
This is inconspicuous.
yeah.
Everything short of whistling, yes.
Mhm.
And she'll spot you guys and she'll make her way towards you, empty-handed. All right. I see you found a friend, Melody.
He found me.
No.
Hard not to pay attention to what was happening here, so I figured I would just snoop.
Well, I appreciate it.
Mm.
I gather you were informed of what's been going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, one, the earlier altercation was very hard to miss.
Right.
But then when the dust settled, literally, and the two factions separated, someone from the Tyrants came and spoke to me about the whole thing. Just so everybody was informed, that should be.
I gotta ask.
Mm-hmm.
You actually okay with this kind of stuff going on?
Listen. It's not easy managing all these groups. Especially when he points to the side of the camp you just came from. When some of those folks are more eccentric and more powerful, and they intermingle with, and he points to the other side of the camp, the western side of the camp where you are all from, all the refugees, and intermingle with those people, sometimes the two worlds clash and for the worse off. Because the two worlds are unfamiliar to one another, and depending upon where it starts and how it starts is generally the problem. The other half of it is I genuinely cannot actually stop some of them. So I'm a manager, mostly in name only, and that as long as people aren't actively going on killing sprees, that's a win. But there's nothing I can really do about it when someone willingly enters the other person's camp and challenges them to a fight.
That's fair.
And for the record, if that's not what happened, now is the time to tell me. Because that was the story I was told. If it was in fact not provoked, or it was unprovoked, and your friend had literally just been almost killed, then that's information I can use and I can start trying to put things in motion to do something about it.
Well, it's my understanding as well that that's what happened. Roz made a mistake going in there. And Corona just kind of looks at Melody to make sure that that is in fact the word.
Bill Ross opens up about it. Yeah, that's what we know.
My whole issue with it, and I'm sure you understand, Covert, is that that sword, for one reason or another, is special to them, but it's special to us as well. Uh, you know, I mean, in terms of family, it was given to Roz for what it's worth, but that thing saved our lives too in the last mission, and without it, that puts us in danger.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking at it mostly from, you know, not the side of family, not the side of tradition, but rather, if we're all in on this war front together, then this just feels like it's hurting one group for no reason. And I say this not really expecting you to stomp in there and do something about it or anything. I'm not putting this responsibility on you. I'm just asking. Is it, you know, that's how things are, right?
He sits there, kind of makes a face for a moment, and then just you see him sort of like relent. Yeah, I mean, basically, like I said, if general decorum is being observed, everything else is mostly just a matter of, survival of the fittest. If you can't do anything about it, then that's where we stand. Tatiana was able to take it from Roz because she could. That was just the consequence. So, yeah, unfortunately, that is what it is. It's part of the reason why picking your friends here is important.
All right. Well, we'll just have to make do without that weapon then, and hopefully Roz learns a lesson from all this. I don't think it's impossible to get that sword back without having to fight, but it'll take some time.
Well, if you are all, hurting for magic weapons, because I'm assuming that's probably the most important part of this, given what you guys told me about your last mission being attacked by shadows. If you guys have money, which I know you guys have managed to bring some back with you, you could try to pull in and buy one. Or, and probably to a moderately degree of likeliness, if you go check out that hero totem that I mentioned a couple days ago, it's usually filled with all kinds of magic items and potions and other kind of trinkets and artifacts that have been lost. So if you guys are even moderately successful, you all could come out much better for it. Again, if it is that important.
Any information even come back on it?
Not yet, sadly.
That just means it's still up for the taking, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to assume the group that was sent will come back whenever they're out of the totem world.
That's more my concern. Don't want to be dropping into a trap.
I mean, that is true. It is in a dangerous location. And the more people that we send there, the more likeliness of it in us being discovered. So, I'll let you all know when that group comes back in case you all decide that's something you want to do.
That'd be appreciated.
Yeah, no problem.
Alright, well, that's enough of bullshit with the tyrants. And Corona's gonna open up her shotgun and let the two shells out store them away.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we go? Why don't we go about our day? I guess I'll let the others know what happened, and then we can plan from there. Unless you two wanted to stand around here,
Uh,
keep eavesdropping.
No, I have a practically infinite amount of work, which I will get back to.
All right,
You all stay out of trouble, please.
will do. Thanks for keeping an eye out, though.
Mm-hmm.
Ever find time to rest?
Occasionally. The funny thing about elves is that we really don't need to rest as much as others. So, mm-hmm.
I don't mean sleep.
I rest plenty.
She just kind of gives him a nod and a smile. Good.
Thank you for your concern, Melody. But I'm doing
She'll
fine.
go up on like her tiptoes, even though she might not have to. I can't remember exactly how tall he is.
Taller than you.
Well, I know he's taller than she's 5'2". She's 5 foot even. I think she's pretty short.
Again, generally
double
speaking,
check.
almost all of you are kind of like on the shorter side, minus like I think
Yeah.
Titan and Corona.
But she'll reach up and like pat him on the top of the head as best she can, kind of thing.
It's a bit of a reach, but you do it.
Mhm. And she's grinning, like.
Mhm. Are you done now?
I will leave you to your business.
Great. Like I said, stay out of trouble.
Will do.
Mm-hmm. And he bows, swirling his cape in front of him, and he misty steps back to his desk.
Sure.
He immediately
Sure wish I
like
could do that.
he automatically appears in his chair, just already writing.
Already writing it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you both heading back to the Greenwood camp?
Yeah, Corona's good too, unless if Adi has anything.
No, Audie wants to check on Roz,
Okay, yeah,
but
Okay.
Corona's in for that as well.
Alright, in which case, Titan, you were heading your way back to the camp to go check up on Roz. And I just have to mention it because I can't get it out of my head now, which was I really feel like Lilith going to deliver the news to Titan that Roz was like hurt badly by Tatiana was basically like Professor Farnsworth from Futurama going, "To shreds, you say?" On the phone. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
I just can't.
How's his wife holding up?
Yeah.
To shreds, you say?
Bad news, everyone.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's been stuck there. I thought I would share it because I figured a few people would giggle. Anyway, yeah, Titan, you've made it back into the heart of the refugee camp. I'm assuming you're stopping to get your supplies,
Yeah, of course.
and you head over to Roswin's tent.
Okay. I mean, if it had a door to knock on, Titan would knock, but he's
Mhm.
gonna kind of just peek in, as it is a tent.
Correct.
What's Roz up to?
Roz is asleep on the one side of her body that doesn't have a giant laceration.
Fair enough. Titan will come in. He's gonna do a quick medicine check, but he's not gonna bother Roz if she seems okay.
Mhm.
Gonna
quick-
let her sleep.
Quick aside: is Lilith present, or is this the time Lilith was up to go get sundries?
Based on how much time she spent talking to us before doing that, that's probably about when she was off to get, a snack and water.
Gotcha. Okay, it was just Titan and Roz. Titan, roll that medicine check.
23.
Okay. I mean, yes, you are a doctor. Well, you know what, Sam, you had a really great description about the wounds you suffered because you really took it upon yourself to figure out exactly how she got devastated. So why don't you tell us about what Roz's state is like?
There is one laceration on the left side of her chest between her ribs that has definitely clipped a lung, and there is another laceration from hip to shoulder on her back that was about 2 inches away from shattering her spine.
So bad.
I mean, those are serious injuries.
Yes. Oh, but to sprinkle on top of your medicine check there, you know that the wounds are relatively recent. Like via word of mouth. But you do note, because of Roz's resting, well, maybe you don't know because exactly, but while she is here resting, the segments of her body that have been like just battered from the blunt force of the blow with the giant weapon, and then cleaved into, where it essentially sliced, and then bone was the reason why it didn't continue all the way through. There are signs of things already beginning to heal.
Okay. In that case, I think Titan is going to do some. I mean, you know, under normal circumstances, this would all be major surgery,
Mm-hmm.
And pretty immediately needed. But if it looks like it's healing up, he's just going to chalk it up to whatever's going on with us lately, and he's probably going to do some cleaning of the wounds and make sure he checks in very frequently on Roz. But if it's healing itself, there's no need for massive surgeries.
Yeah, like I said, you can see signs that, despite how recent it is, that things are already kind of knitting themselves back into place. Bleeding has slowly been like staunching itself, and not in a manner in which you think it is just because it is bleeding into her chest cavity kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. This is completely new to Titan, and perhaps has only ever really heard about instances of like this from probably other members of Mythlight who were studying phenomenon such as this. Yeah, you think it's probably wise to keep a close eye on her, and as necessary, make a different choice should something change.
Yep. That's the plan. So yeah, he's, like I said, he's gonna clean wounds. If she's sleeping with this serious of wounds, he's confident that any sort of cleaning them isn't going to wake her up. She's essentially in a coma right now.
Mm-hmm. I think we can all agree with that. And sometime during your checkup and redressing, Lilith, you'll make your way back into the tent, where you will find a somewhat large-sized dragon eye occupying the space within Roz's tent.
Oh, Titan, you're back.
Yeah, I've just been doing some tending to Roz's wounds. They're pretty serious, but they look like they're knitting up naturally.
That's good. Is she asleep?
Yeah, we'll call it that. She's unconscious at any rate.
Oh, well, I had just left to get her some water and a snack, but I guess she can have them later.
I wouldn't recommend eating. The water might be good.
Would you like the last little bit of this cake?
Titan shakes his head. No thanks, kid. You go for it.
She'll just eat it.
Mhm.
I doubt it was very much.
Just shove the whole piece right into your mouth. Okay, now role play with a mouthful of cake.
So, she's gonna be okay?
I hope so, kid. Like I said, this is new territory for me. Normally, this would be intense surgery. One of the blows clipped her lung. This blow here went through a lot of her body. She probably doesn't realize it, but that's intestines that are ripped open. That's, and he's kind of looking it over without, digging into her. Possibly a kidney injury. It doesn't look like it's on the side that would be her liver, so that we can thank the gods for that. Because
Well,
then we'd be worried about sepsis.
I do know that she was treated a little bit by the Immortal Bastion. She mentioned bits of her armor were embedded in the wound and they got them all out for her.
Titan slowly nods. That's good, I suppose. I hope they didn't do more damage digging around in there, but I'll trust they know what they're doing.
Well, if anyone can take care of her, it's you. I mean, you put me back together years ago.
Titan gives a little smile. Well, I hope so, kid. Like I said, she's in poor shape, but I'll be checking in on her frequently. If it's healing naturally, then there's no need for me to be stitching things up and pulling things out.
Well, if you ever need a hand with anything, just let me know, okay?
Yeah, of course. Just keep an eye on her for me. I've got an appointment I gotta keep, or at least inform Bandit of what's happened. And we'll decide what we're gonna do there.
Sounds good.
It's just good to have people watching over her, watching over her right now.
If I end up heading out, I'll make sure to get some people from the village to keep an eye on her.
That'd be great. Yeah, I let Lotus know as well. If you see any change, come get me immediately, yeah?
Will do. Where, you said you're going to talk to Bandit?
Yeah, I got an appointment with him. Before all this happened.
Well, tell him I said hi.
Will do. What about you, kid? How you holding up? I know you and Roz are close.
Not sure if I'm more angry at Tatiana for doing this to her, or for how Roz was walking around by herself and refusing to lay still.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do when Roz wakes up. I'm not sure how much lecturing she'll have to endure.
I think she's beating herself up for the most part already.
It nods. I'm sure she is. That doesn't mean she knows what's wrong or what she did.
She's got a thick head, but I think a hit like that would get through it.
And just shakes his head. Like I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do when she wakes up. She's got at least a hug coming. But maybe some lectures.
Maybe hug her just tight enough where it hurts.
Titan laughs a little. Yeah, alright. Maybe.
You go enjoy your time with Bandit. I'll keep an eye on her.
Alright. Thanks, kid. Like I said, if anything changes, you come get me.
Will do. I was thinking about heading that way at some point today anyway.
Titan will get up, kind of put a hand on Willis' shoulder, and then head out.
Okay. Any pit stops for Titan on his way over to the White Cross camp?
I mean, just based on timing, I'm betting that he's going to run into Corona and Audie on their way to see Roz.
You are correct.
And he'll just catch Corona. How'd it go?
Does word travel around that quick?
Audie let me know you were over there talking to him.
Oh. Well, came back empty-handed, but at least I didn't come back with any scars or anything. They said it's, like you can imagine, it's just their tradition, and what Roz did is, well, something she shouldn't have done, so them having the weapon is a result of that. And the only way to get it back is by killing Tatiana. Although the man I spoke to, uh, his name was Thalman. He did mention maybe if we were to work together, that might change. So who knows? But yeah, Roz is gonna have to just learn to live without that weapon for now, and we're gonna have to pick up the slack and get something that can back us up if we run into more of those shadows or anything like them.
Titan slowly nods. So the tyrants are dedicated to being wholly uncool about this, are they?
Seems like it. The man I spoke to was
Great.
he was pretty dead set on it. Why? You got something in mind?
I don't know. I don't know enough about the situation. I'd like to talk to Roz about why this happened. About
Yeah.
what she was thinking, what she was doing, and why they would take her sword. I knew it was strong and clearly had magic to it, but I don't know why the tyrants would be interested in it. I'm sure they've got 1,000 weapons like it and 1,000 more. Better.
I
So what do
couldn't
they
tell
need
you.
that one for?
Well, he the the man Thalman, he mentioned that the weapon was in a sense inherited by it was meant to be inherited through combat like that. So, it must be rather special considering he said that the only person that can inherit it now is Tatiana. Maybe maybe she doesn't really care so much about the weapon itself. I don't know. But he did say she was prideful, and she sure as hell does seem like it. Just from word alone.
I mean, they call her a tyrant for a reason, don't they?
Sure. But you're right. We'll probably have to get a lot of our information out from Roz. I assume you went and checked up on her?
Yeah, she's in rough shape. But I think she's pulling through miraculously.
I didn't really get a good look at her in the meeting, but she did look pretty beat up.
Titan just
Is she-
nods. It's probably best I don't start listing injuries.
No, don't worry. I'm gonna get a.
No use panicking over nothing, right?
I guess, but I'm gonna be checking her out. Unless she's. Is she resting?
Yeah, that, like I said to Lilith, that's what we'll call it. She's out. She's
Okay.
unconscious.
Good.
But as I said, her body seems to be healing on its own, which is not how bodies generally work. This isn't a class I took, but some of the other students and professors of Mythlight have talked about this sort of phenomenon. Like I said, I just never thought I'd see it, especially not in Roz or anyone from the village. This is all strange, weird territory.
Well, I don't think we're going anywhere without Roz until she heals up. So I also don't foresee myself being busy with too much stuff. If you want me to pass off on shifts looking after her, just let me know, okay?
He nods. I don't know how much looking after she needs, but people watching her is important. My advice to you and to everybody else: if anything changes while you're with her, you let me know immediately. Good or ill.
All right. Will do.
Alright. I'm off to go see Bandit.
Well, more training, I take it?
Well, that was the plan, but as I've also discussed with Lilith, what's happened to Roz changes things. I'm gonna let Bandit know and let him know of my responsibilities, and we'll decide what's happening from there.
Makes sense. All right. Well, I'll let you be on your way then.
Alright. Then, Crota, thanks for checking in on it.
I wasn't gonna let anyone else do it. Not after what happened to Roz.
Good. It's good to have a level head in the group.
That what you call it? Thanks for the compliment.
He just smiles. Come on, you know I'm not cut out for it. Anyway, I'll let you guys go.
Sounds good, Titan. Take it easy.
Titan will head off.
And away he goes. And Titan is heading to the White Cross camp. Corona and Melody, you're going to check up on Roz, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I'll ask because I really don't have a particularly strong beat one or the other. Who wants to go first?
I am fine with anyone else going first because I feel like I've been doing a lot of talking this session.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm good. I'm kind of interested in what's going on with Bandit. So
Okay.
unless Quinn got something, or if Roz mysteriously wakes up, I'm cool with that.
No, she's gonna be asleep for at least an hour. All right. In which case, we're gonna continue to follow Titan as you walk
Okay.
across the camp. You'll get a casual nod of acknowledgement from Covert as you pass by him in the center.
Titan kind of just gives that like half wave that you do when you're
Mhm.
walking by somebody that you sort of know, and you're like, hey.
Yeah, got places to be, things to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, and you cross the threshold into the mercenary factions camp on the east, walking all the way down the lane, catching sight of the various mercs in their natural habitats, minus the Bastion, who is absent of their camp today. And at the very end, you reach the White Cross Company camp with the 2 sentries posted outside. When you approach, they stand at attention. And for what purpose are you here today?
I've got a meeting with Bandit.
All right. The right commander is currently in the preparations tent, and will take a straight arm and point right behind him back to the large tent in the, it's literally like 40 feet that way.
All right, thanks. And Titan will just walk off.
Mm-hmm.
Head into Bandit's tent.
Yep. Yeah, you cross over. And as once before, you see old man Bandit standing over a large wooden table with a region map and a bunch of pieces on it, some of which have moved since the last time you were here. But when you come in, he kind of braces himself on the table with one hand, just like not like any particularly startling manner, just like he leans on the table a bit and then looks up at you. Titan, it's good that you've come to visit again. I was waiting for you.
No, I hope I'm not too late.
Not at all. There's plenty of time in the day.
Titan nods. Yeah, but I know your time is valuable. You've got
Mhm.
a lot to take care of.
Oh, it's fine.
Like commander and all that stuff.
He gives you a smirk that kind of, is like, yeah, but also whatever. it's kind of dismissive of his own rank. But I'm glad that you've come. I wanted to ask you about how Roswin is doing.
You've heard the news, have you?
Hard not to hear it, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, Tatiana did a number on her. He, by all rights, should be dead. And Titan will go through the injuries that he found. Clipped lung, nearly severed spine, like I said, just the intense internal trauma to many organs that would be in that path line.
A normal person would be dead, yes. I suppose it is good news that Roz is not a normal person in this case.
I don't know. I don't know too much about this stuff. Like I said, to others, I haven't studied it. Others at Mythlight did, but this is all new territory for me. I've never dealt with people with this sort of abilities.
I understand. It does throw things a little out of whack in regards to typical training and application. I, in my time, have come across several like this. The left commander, Siege, they are of one of these types. An individual that can be almost blown in half and in a day's time recover without any aid. We have a few of them with this particular strength in our ranks. They are rare, but potent.
Unbelievable to see people like this.
I agree. I think I have a book on this that talks a little about the theory as to what this is. I believe it was written by someone from Mythlight that was similarly studying the phenomenon, and that it's linked back to the first creations during a time when power and magic was more, well, dense, I think is the word they used.
Oh, fascinating.
I'll make sure to get it for you before you leave today.
I don't want to borrow too many of your books.
Oh, it's fine. I've already read it. It would only continue to gather dust otherwise.
Well, thank you. I'd appreciate it. The more I know, the better. At
Yes.
least that's how I've always viewed the world.
Well, given who you are and what you do, Titan, it would be of great value for you to be better informed. Because even these people that have these abilities have limitations, and you need to know when you, as a doctor and a physician and a medic, need to step in.
Titan nods. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what I need to know.
So, I'll make sure the book is brought here before we part ways. Would you like to talk further about your reading, or is there something else you would like to speak on?
No, I had some questions. And Titan pulls out Bandit's book, and he has little bookmarks and tabs, and he's like, I had some questions about, and we can cut away so that neither of us has to pretend we know much more about medicine.
Thank you. I know nothing about medicine. I am not a doctor.
I do some research so I can have intelligent conversations with my soon-to-be doctor friend. But
yeah, fair.
Otherwise, yeah, let's and so I have enough knowledge to fumble my way through as Titan.
Yeah,
but like I said, we could cut.
Yeah. How long does Titan plan on staying there?
I mean, he does feel responsibilities towards Roz, but he's told enough people to come get him if something's going on, so he's willing to do 1.5, 2 hours with Bandit.
Okay, that's fair. And before when you leave, just before you depart, Bandit will have a private go fetch the book he mentioned, and he will give it to you before you part ways. And on the title, the leather-bound book says a theory on the heroic gene.
Heroic. All right, thank you. And I'll update the field medicine book to 8 hours of study. And we'll save those notes. Okay.
Okay, great. We're kind of at break time, so I'm just going to ask. So I have an idea. Where is Titan going after this? Is he just going to go back to camp, check up on Roz? Is there anything else that isn't just medical observation?
It depends on the state Roz is in when he gets back.
Fair enough.
But he'll go back, check on Roz, and do some medical observation. But like, if Roz seems like she needs more attention, he'll probably stay close by and study. If not, then he might do some other things. It just depends what he finds when he gets back.
Okay. And then last but not least, I do want to ask, collectively, as the party, when do you all think the conversation will be had about your mission selection?
After Roz wakes up.
That's
I
what.
think so.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
And as long as Titan doesn't look at her and go, no, more rest. I
Yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
stress Roz, but I imagine that might not be the case.
Okay, fair enough. We'll deal with Roz being bullied with love later. Right now, we're going to take a 10-minute break, so we'll be right back. See you then, nerds. We're continuing, as I just said. We've returned. Hello. We left off with Titan speaking to Bandit, the right commander of Whitecross Company, and he was making his way back towards the camp after a nice casual stay, speaking on things both medical and philosophical. Meanwhile, a little bit in the past, back at the Greenwood camp, Roz's tent has become very crowded.
If it helps, Audie's probably sitting right outside, but is very attentive.
I mean, that would certainly make it less crowded.
I don't think Wolf is sitting inside either.
I lied. Nobody's in Roz's tent other than Roz. Honestly, probably how it should be. Be like a bunch of people standing around in the patient's room. Like, this is just kind of rude.
I don't imagine it's a very big tent.
Probably fit 2 people, like sleeping wise. So, I mean, and
Unless this is the one she shares with her grandpa, in which case, where are they?
it's not. They have a different tent, but for what it's worth, because speak of the grandpa, Braun's been going around making some tent upgrades for people. They're not just like single like sleeper tents for or for people. No, they're actually like proper pavilion tents now. At least several of the larger families have received upgrades due to the money that Braun was given. Yeah, Greenwood's camp is shaping up.
Has he checked in?
Is he alive, are you asking?
No, I'm asking whether or not he's aware of Roz's condition.
As far as you all know, he is not visited. He tends to keep himself pretty busy despite his age. He's actually usually somewhere up north with all the other craftsmen participating in something. Most recently, as I mentioned, he's been working on, housing upgrades for people of Greenwood. So, Corona, Adi, Lilith. Technically Roz, who's asleep. There you all are. Half-dead friend. Go on, talk about it.
Did you all meet Titan on your way back?
We did. Corona looks to Melody.
Yeah, we did.
I assume he probably told you updates, how she's doing, that stuff.
More or less, yeah. Didn't go into detail, but I'm sure that'd speak for itself. Doesn't really look much better than when she was standing. Karna just kind of like leans her head and like peeks in a little bit. She's sleeping.
Yeah, and healing slowly. Or,
Yeah.
well, I guess very quickly compared to what would be normal.
Yeah, Titan called it a big deal. Something that's a rare phenomena, he called it. Who knows if it's from Well, I don't know. I'm not even going to begin to theorize, but I'm just glad that it's happened. Hopefully it keeps. Has she woken up since? Like, since the meeting, or?
She was up for a bit talking to me, but I went to get some water for her, and when I came back, she was asleep.
Hmm. Well, it's probably for the best. I came back from talking with the tyrants, trying to see if I could get that weapon back, but as you can see, I'm empty-handed. They're not going to give it back. Think it's a result. I mean, we'll have to hear it from Roz's mouth when she wakes up, but I think this is just going to be something she lives with for now.
I think she's already kind of accepted that.
You don't think she's going to do anything crazy when she gets up, do you?
Like storm back into the camp and try and take the sword back? No, I don't think she'll do that.
Okay. Because I don't want to give her a lecture. I don't think she needs to hear it from me. Especially if she already kind of learned her lesson. I'm sure her grandpa's going to be giving it anyway, so.
And Titan. Maybe
Yeah.
Lotus.
Well, point being, I don't need to join in on that. But, well, I'll just let her know that she probably shouldn't go back in there in an effort to try and get it back. We'll just have to play nice with them for now. I don't think it's impossible that she might be able to get it back, but I don't want to get her hopes up or anything.
Are you two good to keep an eye on her for a bit?
Yeah, I don't plan on leaving till she wakes up.
I was thinking of heading to White Cross and getting a little bit more training in, since didn't really have any plans for the afternoon.
Yeah, I really didn't either. So, I don't mind sticking around. I don't know if you... Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
No,
no, go
you.
ahead.
No,
No,
you.
two Canadians fighting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll relent. Corona says to Melody, she turns to her and says, I'm not sure if you wanted to take turns or if you wanted company, but in terms of watching over Roz.
I didn't have any plans this afternoon. Maybe studying magic if time permitted, but it wasn't urgent. If you had things to do, I don't mind sitting
I,
on the lonesome, but you're welcome
I,
to stay.
I got, and trust me, what I had in mind was way less important than what you, sounds like what you have in mind, so.
I don't think I could focus.
Mm. All right, well, I don't mind staying here. Maybe I could do some stuff to keep me busy while I'm here, but nothing that'll wake Roz up, I'm sure. And I can keep you company until you decide you've had enough.
Company's appreciated.
You sound like you want to say something, Lilith.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying if Titan didn't mention it, if anything changes with Roz, he said to go get him. I think he's talking to Bandit at the White Cross, so
Yeah, that checks out. Told us good or bad. Any decisions he wants to know, or any changes he wants to know, rather.
but I'm gonna head out for now. I probably won't be up too late, so see you all in a little bit.
Yep. Take it easy.
Best luck.
And she will head over to her own tent for a bit, grab a few of her things, and head out towards White Cross.
Okay. What is Lilith training today?
She wants to just kind of work with the White Cross a little bit. Nothing terribly specific. She has a hunch about which mission we're going to pick, just based on the party's personalities and what their priorities are.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
So she wants to work with White Cross because that's who they're working with.
Okay. So you basically want to go in and you actually want to like do some White Cross drills, not just
Yeah.
combat drills. Yeah. Okay. Doable.
It's one day, but it's, how do these people do things? Because
Mhm.
you're more experienced than us.
Yeah. Fair. Just to randomly determine the NPC that'll be training you today, Lilith. Roll me a d6.
4.
4. Okay. Sadly, it is not someone you've met. So I don't know. Maybe fortunately, I don't know. You meet someone new. You in a group of other White Cross members, privates and corporals. They invite you because that is your intention to train with them and do some other drills and practice formations, which is instructed by Sergeant Hollowbark.
I mean, they sound cool.
Well, they're a forest elf. They have they're soft spoken, which is a little unusual at first, but then when they are doing the drills, they have a very firm, commanding voice that somehow manages to remain not loud, but able to be heard easily. So, yeah. How long is Lilith going to stay there training?
Let's see. It's like probably 1 to 2 in the afternoon still when she gets there.
Yeah, around there.
She'll train until they break for dinner.
Okay. In which case, back at the Greenwood camp. How long is Roz out for, Sam?
You mind if I just base that on a couple of quick rolls?
Shoot, go for it.
Literally seeing how much she heals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first roll is minimum.
Hmm.
So not after 1 hour. The second roll is maximum. So she theoretically could wake up in 2 hours with most of her health back.
There, where does she end up?
27 of 33.
That's pretty good.
That's sore, but alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's within reason. That Roz could be up in 2 hours and even mildly mobile. At the after those those 2 hours are gone. It would be ill-advised for Roz to still participate in any kind of physical activity. It would be a long rest required to really get everything back into place.
Okay. Well, she's too stubborn to stay down, so she's going to get up anyway.
Yeah, I'm more interested in informing the player.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, in which case, Corona, Adi, it will be a little bit of time, but Roz will eventually come too, after, grumbling a bit here or there.
Roz will get up, stand, feel her ribs shifting back into place,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just popping and cracking, groaning from inside the tent, and then she crawls out.
Listen. How you feeling?
Oh, like I was run over by a horse.
I think you were.
Oh, I wasn't. What
How's
y'all
feel?
doing sitting here?
Keeping watch over you.
Yeah, making sure you stay with the living.
I'm fine.
Got a few people want to know your story.
What was that?
A few people want to know your story.
Not much story to tell. I picked a fight with the wrong person. She kicked my ass, took the sword that never belonged to me to begin with, and as far as I'm concerned, it's settled.
Never belonged to you, but wasn't it basically like a family heirloom almost?
No. No, Rorkin gave it to me. Left it on my bed, and I found it on the way out of town when we were kicked out of our home. But Tatiana made it abundantly clear it should never have been given to me in the first place. As far as I can tell, all she did was correct that mistake.
Think Corona's gonna like raise an eyebrow. She's inciting you to see if you actually truly believe that.
Sure.
Insight check.
Let me do that. She's not great at them, but
Second best in the party.
yeah, I guess we did establish that. Lucky 7. 9. That doesn't even beat a passive, I don't think.
Yeah, ultimately up to Sam at that point.
She might be lying, might not be. I will say that Roz does have a history of very quickly getting over things. Maybe a little too quickly sometimes. She certainly isn't storming off to the tyrant's camp around 2.
Okay. Yeah, I think Corona's just gonna say, look, if you're planning or even thinking of going back at any point for it, you'd best forget it. I already did that, and I talked with them. And we clear on that?
Perfectly. I think it was a mistake for me to go there the first time, honestly, let alone the second. And well, I've learned my lesson the hard way, it seems.
Alright, but if I catch you crawling around there again, you're not just gonna have to deal with Tatiana, alright?
The closest I am ever coming to the tyrant's camp again is only to get to the bastion, because they put a lot on the line for me today.
I did hear that, yeah. It's good you made friends with them. Paid off.
Clearly.
But I'm serious, alright? I'm not here to lecture you.
And I appreciate that, but I'm not going over there again. By the way, has Titan got back with my armor yet? I know that thing was jingling like a bag of coins earlier.
Oh. Right, Titan. He's training at the White Cross right now. I suppose we should go to let him know.
All right. Well, then we'll just all go.
I was gonna say, I'm guessing if we leave you, you're not gonna be here when we get back.
Nope, probably not.
Oh, well, then you come with us.
Okay, let's see if you can stand on your 2 feet first.
Roz can certainly walk on her own. She can almost walk normally on her own. She definitely should not be running.
Noted.
We'll take a leisurely pace.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, playing a little loosey goosey with the time. The lot of you heading over to the east side of the camp will probably cross paths with Titan as he's leaving.
I don't think Titan immediately notices Roz. He just kind of scans across the group and he's like, "Oh, did something happen to Roz?"
Audie will kind of tilt her head towards where Roz is.
Did something happen to Roz?
Titan gets a big old smile, and as promised, he runs over and gives Roz a great big hug. Oh, it's good
she
to
starts
see you up
groaning
and about,
immediately.
kid.
Oh, you're hurting me.
Sorry about that. Lilith said hug a little harder than is necessary.
I'll remember that when I'm fully recovered, Lilith.
Lilith, your ears itch for some reason.
This whole party is so good at keeping secrets from each other.
After playing a character that did that all the time, it's kind of freeing
nice.
to not play that.
That's not my problem anymore.
Yeah.
But then he kind of puts you at arm's length and he's like, "What were you thinking? Why the hell would you challenge Tatiana to a fight?"
All right. I went over there to train, and then she kind of taunted me and called me a child, and it made me mad.
Titan is clearly trying to hold something back, but it just doesn't work. He's like, "And so you decided to respond like a child would. Throw a tantrum and challenge somebody far stronger to a fight. She could have killed you. She would have killed you."
Yeah, I'm well aware of that.
And what would your family have done without you, huh? What would any of us do? We've lost too many Raws.
I've already responded half-cocked once today, so I'm going to try to take a more measured approach this time and just say, I get it. I made a mistake. It happens. People make them. I make a lot of them. I lived, and I'm not going to do it again.
And just shakes his head. Goes for all of you, honestly. When you're making mistakes now, they can kill you.
Hmm.
Seems like they can't just
We're
kill
not
us, though, too.
playing games. We're not in some fairy tale story. We're putting our lives on the line.
Titan.
Yeah.
We know that already.
if you knew it, you wouldn't have been nearly cut in half.
Would you like to talk about how after fighting the Mercurians you were bleeding out your mouth despite the fact that you were untouched? Or you also not want a damn lecture?
Titan shakes his head. We can talk about it. We can talk about anything. I got my lecture from Lotus about me keeping secrets from you guys. And she was right. I'm stupid to do so. So now you're getting my lecture. I don't know what happened after Greenwood, but we all stopped trusting each other and just started doing whatever the hell we wanted. And it's just too dangerous.
I don't think you have to wise it at, Titan. I don't think we stopped trusting each other. I just don't think we ever needed to share secrets this big before. Why would we? It's just town gossip. This is the first time secrets actually matter.
I'm with Melody here. I'm learning a lot about y'all for the first time, but not because I'm trying to keep secrets, or vice versa, I imagine. At least not for everyone. We're just not part of each other's lives all the time, that's all.
Titan takes a deep breath. Fine, I get it. But I worry about you guys, alright?
Well, you wouldn't be a dog if you didn't.
It's more than that. I care about you. All of you. You're like my own family.
Mm-hmm. You keep worrying like that, you're going to get wrinkles in your scales, old man.
Go more silver
You're
than
not
you are.
wrong, kid. Come on. You look well enough to be. If you're well enough to be walking, you're well enough to be drinking. It's enough lectures for one day. Let's have some fun.
You heard the doctor. Doctor's orders.
I'm not gonna get in the way, despite what I think.
Well, what is it that you think?
I don't know if she should be drinking, but I'm not the doc, so I'm not getting in the way. Corona just like lifts her hands up to her side. She's just like, no, I'm not gonna make any medical assessments here. But she does so with a smile.
I
think
can
we need-
extol the virtues of alcohol in medicine, but I think more than anything, it'll be good to take some of the edge off that pain.
I think we have to talk about our next mission anyway. We have some choice ahead of us. Covert had a suggestion that we might want to consider as well.
Yeah.
Did you see Lilith in a camp? She was going to Whitecross just after you.
I haven't seen her. I was likely in with Bandit when she arrived. Shall we go search her out?
Might not be a bad idea. I think Melody's got a point. We really gotta talk about what's next in terms of our mission.
We can talk about it. But I'm not ready to commit to anything until I see how Roz is doing tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no, that goes without saying.
So back to White Cross we go.
Apparently.
Yeah, to find Lilith.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple enough. You go back to the camp. The one of the two sentries will point you towards the training field. And as you all huddle off to the side, like parents watching little leaguers play, you see Lilith in a cluster of 12 individuals, most of them being White Cross. And they're kind of just going through some synchronized drills, moving between various stances with different weapons. A lot of the tactics involve protecting one another. It becomes increasingly clear as you're looking at the White Cross guys. They have a set of fairly standard equipment amongst them all, with the personality kind of influencing the rest of what they carry. But notably, you can tell all of them on some level wear a breastplate, carry a shield, carry a short sword, carry a crossbow, unless their specific nature would determine otherwise. But you see how a lot of these weapons and various sundries come into play as they're practicing these tactics, because it allows them to respond very quickly in different situations, and they're just kind of running through drills and stances to be ready and prepared for different situations, of which Lilith is a part of, which is interesting for you, Lilith, because you're participating and using certain things that you're not used to at all.
She's only a little miserable.
It's mostly the shield training that's kind of off-putting.
Yeah, she definitely probably gets knocked on her ass a couple times.
Well,
She's not used to fighting with shields.
yeah, especially since part of the training is having switching to a shield rapidly in order to defend another person, and the person that's essentially the sergeant that's doing the training is just using a maul as the thing you have to deflect. And so you're literally catching hammer blows with the shield, of which you're getting sent on your butt quite a bit.
I think she's really good at getting the shield out quickly. Not so much at the keeping it up when it gets hit by something.
Today you're gonna learn. Eventually, Lilith, you do clock the rest of your compatriots on the sidelines watching.
She'll wait until there's a small break, which, I mean, White Cross is nights, so presumably there is one.
Yeah, there is. It doesn't. It's a couple of minutes of waiting for them before a water break is called. And people politely, chit chat, drink water, shove, banter, etc., providing you an opportunity to go to run over and talk to them.
Yep. She'll head over to them with very sore arms. Oh, hey. The gang's all here. And Roz, you're up.
Fine, never better.
You're bad at lying, but good to see you on your feet.
I probably can't lift my axe right now, but I can walk.
Did you all come here for me?
We're all gonna get a bite, have a bit of a chat, see what the future of the group's gonna be. Talk to next mission.
Sure. I can probably leave a bit early.
I mean, we're happy to stay and watch you train if you want to finish up. If they'll let me, I might loosen up myself a bit too. I could use somebody to hit.
I'll just stay here and sit on Rosa's lap if somebody's not pinning her down to try and join you.
Oh, fuck off.
I already threatened her with that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Ross is terrified of either of you sitting on her lap.
Fine.
To be fair, she was bleeding a lot more when I threatened it.
No, I will absolutely get up and join the fight if there's not a cute girl sitting on my lap. So, someone will have to do it.
Alright, Corona, you're up.
Hmm.
I ain't sitting on no one's lap, but I'm not going in there either. I'm happy just watching.
Girl, just stick your fingers in the wounds to keep me down. That's not nearly as fun.
Roz, I told you.
Told me what?
She just kind of gets that well, what's the, I don't know how to describe it. Kind of like, not grumpy. I don't know what to call it. Just like grumpy aunt look. Just like don't say it. Don't make me do it.
Ugh, fine, far be it from me to try to flirt with two girls.
You can flirt
One.
all you want. But I've had enough today, honestly.
Well, in doctor's orders, I need a drink.
No, you all don't have to wait around. If Titan wants to join in, you all could head over to have a drink or two and we can catch up.
Yeah, that might sound like a plan.
If that's the plan, Roz, seriously, 2.
2 drinks. Got it.
Regular sized drinks.
That's all I can usually handle anyway, so this is fine for me.
You prescribing us drink there too, Doc?
I mean, I can write a prescription.
You
For
think that
you,
would get the
Avi,
beers
I'd
for
say
free?
5. It'd be worth checking.
Oh, I'm just more concerned. You say 2 drinks, she might take 2 drinks of moonshine instead of 2 drinks of beer.
Oh, that'd be far better. Avoid beer. Beer is not the good one. Higher alcohol content. Better.
Yes, sir.
He just smiles. Nah, stick to wine.
Fine, Dad.
No,
Drink my wine.
Yeah. You know what? Fine. Yes. Dad says drink your damn wine.
Fine. What a punishment.
No dessert till you finish your wine. Come on, Lilith, let's go beat some people up.
Mostly been me getting beat up, but she'll jog back to the training.
What did Daisy with us in?
Okay, so you guys are splitting up.
Yep.
Apparently.
So.
We're like, hey, let's all group up.
Yeah.
And we immediately
Let's
split again.
split up.
Great.
Well, I imagine we wouldn't be grouping up, like it wouldn't be too long. Maybe another hour or two.
No, I was just gonna ask. Yeah, how long are you two and Whitecross gonna be?
I leave that entirely to Lilith. It's her workout I'm joining in on.
Lilith was planning on going until they break for dinner, but since the group wants to meet up and talk, she'll just find kind of the next natural stopping point where people are, taking a rest. She'll stop there.
Close to dinner. At this point, we are quite close to dinner. I think we could probably go till dinner.
Yeah. So another hour roughly. We'll say they'll wrap up around 5. In which case, I mean, you guys are going through something predictable. As I mentioned earlier, it's a series of drills with a certain set of kit that's provided for you. Because specifically Lilith wanted to train alongside White Cross with the way that they train amongst themselves. They will bring in another individual to make sure they have even numbers, so that way everybody at least has a partner when necessary. Which is to say, much in certain places where Lilith struggled, Titan, on the other hand, you excel at them. Such as catching hammer blows with a shield.
Yeah, I mean, Titan doesn't love weapons, but he can use them.
I mean, it's even just because you're just far more sturdy.
That's fair too.
But yeah, you guys are put through the ringer. You know, it's a pretty warm day, but at least not scorching. But yeah, you learn some of the tactics of White Cross and how they fight, and the fact that they collaboratively on a battlefield, they have several rules that they follow, which includes a buddy system if they ever have to break up from being a solid group. So that way one person is always looking out for another, and it is each other's responsibility to care for the other one. Which so far, according to their history, allowed for very low casualty rates during their various exchanges that they participate in. But while you guys are off doing that unfun thing, everyone else is going drinking. So, Corona, Roz, Audie, you make your way towards the center of the camp and head south towards the Dusty Daisy. It is getting closer to dinner time, so the traffic is picking up. It isn't full, it's not packed yet, but you do know between 5 and 6 is like some of their busiest hours. So you are right there before the rush. There are tables available, both sitting and standing, inside and out.
I imagine we'd try and secure a table for enough of us.
Yeah. Just to future-proof a little bit.
Yeah, given that you guys are going there around 4ish, I won't even do any silly rolls for it. You guys can find a space and reel in a couple of chairs to make sure you can accommodate the whole group of you. And while you're doing, one of the tavern runners, who was clearly watching all of you, kind of skitters up once you look like you're all settling. It's a younger elven girl, clearly in her preteens. She looks up at you with sandy blonde hair that's pulled back into a ponytail. She gives you a smile with her bright green eyes. Hi everybody. I see you're getting ready. Do you want meals, drinks? What are you here for?
Rana looks to the other two girls so that they could get their order first.
Right. Dinner, whatever it is this time, and a little bit of wine, please.
Sure. And for you, she looks at you, Audie.
Yeah, I get my dinner tonight now. And a cider, please.
Cider, okay. And for you, ma'am?
I'll have dinner and cider as well. Sounds good.
Okay. I'll go put that in and bring it to you as soon as it's ready.
Thank you.
And she gives a short bow and then quickly turns and skitters off, moving through the crowd with practiced ease. And you all pull your chairs up and settle in at your table. Why don't all of you just throw me some perception checks first, so you can see who might be here. Anybody of interest?
3.
Oh, 8.
Body.
Perception. That's an 11. No, sorry. 9, 3, 12.
Okay. Unsurprisingly, Roz is distracted, dealing with the occasional stabbing pain in her abdomen.
I think
Corona.
Corona is just tired from the events of the day,
Yeah.
kind of going back and forth.
Very reasonable. Adi, you kind of just quickly cast your glance around to see if there's any notable figures present. Just at a glance, because it's kind of you think it's a requisite that Covert enforced at some point, that for the mercenary groups on the east side of the camp, that when they're dressed down, they have these armbands that match their colors. And so you can spot a couple of others here. Unsurprisingly, due to White Cross's numbers, there are at least 3 different groups of White Cross Company members here that are all kind of sitting down, having a meal, various levels of rowdy, but not being disrespectful. There is a group of 4 from the Chapter of Fire, of which you all haven't really had many interactions with them, but they really kind of stand up to their aesthetic. Like, they really like their reds, oranges, and yellows, and one of them literally has has fire for hair. Like, they're really leaning into it. But more notably, you're not sure, honestly, what they're about or even who they are, because they don't have an armband. But it looks as if they've secured themselves an extremely nice table. You probably don't even think it's one of the normal ones here. But it's long and rectangular, and it looks like it seats about 16. And all the people, there's a person in every chair. There's no one at one end, but there's another person sitting at the other. A very heavy set Florin with a oiled mustache and slicked back hair, and standing behind him is a black scaled dragon eye that is similar in Titan stature, and is clad in black scale mail to sort of match the whole thing. They're sitting there with this huge great sword just sort of in front of them that their hands are resting on the crossguard for, just kind of looming behind the gentleman at the head of the table. But despite all that, the Dusty Daisy is, as expected, busy, loud, music being played in the background from the stage, people receiving food and drinks, an occasional, playful fight breaks out that is left to be. Do with that what you will, if anything.
I think Corona would probably pretty early on just look over to Roz and say, "You good with sitting? Feeling comfortable?"
Feeling fine. What, you think I was going to run off or something?
Maybe.
Pick a fight with the Chapter of Fire over there.
I mean, they are right there.
I think I'd fall over as soon as anyone even stood up.
Might be true, but hey, at least seems like you know your limits right now.
I have been in more than one fight, and I have had my ass kicked. many times. This is the worst it's ever been, but what doesn't kill you, right?
Yeah, I subscribe to that too. Speaking of which, though we're probably going to talk about it once everyone else gets here. Well, I mean, I know it sounds like you are getting past the whole weapon thing, but we'll find a way to outfit ourselves so, you know, we're not in too much of a disadvantage. Because you did a hell of a job out there with those shadows. If it wasn't for that weapon, we probably wouldn't have made it out so safely.
Maybe not. I think as soon as the fight started going that bad, we could have run.
Well, we could have, but
Fights
we
not going
didn't
that
have to.
bad.
Exactly.
If the fights start going that bad, I think the Herder might step forward sooner. Desperate people make deals.
That's. Anyway,
I just realized I don't think Audie knows.
It was just weirdly pointed for no reason. Well, after a few minutes, the tavern runner comes back carrying a tray that is about as wide and as tall as she is, and drops off 3 full meals, mercenary meals, so they are quite hearty, 2 ciders, and a glass of wine.
right, well, cheers then.
Colonel will grab her cider. Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be keeping an eye out on you, but hey, we'll make it out on top, all right?
I'm not worried. We'll be all right.
Guess what
Besides,
that will do. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
besides, next mission, I'm pretty sure we're going to be with a larger group, so somebody will have our backs.
That's true. Sounds like a lot of the new missions are with others. Which one are we thinking? I have a
What one?
feeling it's all the same, but
Come on, Titan's been chomping at the bit to go find our people. Now the opportunity's right here. An ambush, hit Izael in one hand, and take our people back with the other. This is a no-brainer.
I was thinking that one too. That one,
Mm.
and there's the totem, but we'll get talking about that once the others come in.
Mm. Yeah, we're not exactly sneaky like. And like to stay away from the tyrants a bit if we can. Besides, I really want to get a look at their colours.
Just feels like the right one to take. Though I guess we'll see. We'll see how things pan out for the others going to take on that portal. But yeah, I'm thinking that too. That one's been staring at us in the face for a while, like you said.
Right, well, we'll see what Lilith and Titan have to say, but I'm pretty sure I can guess what Titan's got to say.
Oh yeah?
Like I said, he's been chomping at the bit to go see our people for quite some time.
You don't think he wants to work with the tyrants?
Huh. Huh. I don't want to work with the tyrants now, and I've gone to their camp. I've given them the benefit of the doubt, and I don't want to work with them.
Nah, that's fair. I think they only got one reasonable person in there anyway.
Wouldn't know. I've only ever talked to Tatiana. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said it like that.
Why not?
Because I just backhandedly called Tatiana unreasonable.
I don't know if she'd argue that.
Pay no
I
mind
don't
to
want
the
her to
dice
hear it.
rolling.
She'd just kill me if she hears me saying it.
Feel like you're a little bit safer out here than in their camp.
I'm gonna try to keep her name out of my mouth from now on. I don't want nothing to do with her anymore.
Probably not a bad idea either. Out of curiosity, what do we have for dinner?
The offerings tonight is a roasted vegetable medley with a hearty fish stew with potatoes, peas, and carrots, along with fresh, flaky cheese biscuits, and a side platter of fresh fruit, amongst which there are pineapple and mango mostly presented.
I shouldn't have asked. Now I'm hungry at midnight.
The most dangerous thing ever is to ask a dyer, so what meal are we having? Because it's always the best.
One of these days, I'll actually make the meal.
You're well on your way to an Eldarth cookbook.
One day.
What are we having today? You just lift up the plate.
As you can see here. Well, you all pass the time a little with drinks and conversation, food. And partway through, Corona, you notice her because of your passive perception. You eventually notice Vanya pushing her way into the tavern as it's getting busier. She kind of has to shoulder her way past people. You can tell she stops, and she's holding a crate in front of her, and she stops and she's looking around. And then eventually your eyes meet, and you realize she's looking at you because you see the expression on her face kind of go, ah, there you are. And then she starts elbowing her way towards where all of you were seated.
I think Corona is gonna get up from her seat slowly and then go to help her out, but then by the time she even gets like a foot off, she realizes, oh, she's coming to see me. Okay. Vanya.
Holy hell! I've been looking for you for the last 4 or 5 hours.
Well, I've been going around the entire camp. A few pit stops along the way.
Yeah, I found out. I've basically been traveling in y'all's shadow for the better part of the afternoon.
Sorry about that.
I mean, it happens. It's what happened. I got my head wrapped up in all my tinkering and smithing. And when I finally had something I wanted to come talk about, I looked for y'all. And then, of course, there's a whole big hubbub that happened. You know, where travel's really fast in this camp is just like looks past you where Roz is sitting. Oh, all right, Roswin's alive. Great. Word around was going that she died.
Oh, did you hear that, Odie? I'm dead.
I guess it makes you immortal too, eh?
Oh, no, not at all. Don't say that too loud, Tatiana will come prove you wrong.
Maybe you're a ghost then.
Ooh.
Tell us spooky stories about Roz later.
That's right, I'll tell spooky stories about myself.
And I think by this point, Audie's probably made her way onto Roz's lap. Just to hold good on that promise.
Thank goodness it's not her legs that were injured.
And it's the only reason she's doing it. Like, if it would actually hurt Roz, she wouldn't have done it.
Nah, she's fine.
Eventually, Vanya, makes her way back over with Corona. Again, carrying this crate in front of her, in this wooden crate. It's filled with straw. And other various like small pieces of like wood chips and things of that nature, and she hoists it up onto the table, but sets it down very gently. All
Corona
right,
would help her with it, but sorry, go ahead.
no, it's fine. Hey, first of all, Roz, I'm glad to see you're still alive. Like I said, the rumors weren't too kind to you.
The rumors of my death were greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, clearly someone said they walked away with one of your legs as a souvenir. So,
Who the hell said that?
well, you ever worked in amongst a bunch of craftsmen who are standing around all day working a craft that they've done for most of their life that they can do pretty much without thinking? They talk sometimes.
I'm gonna go haunt them tomorrow. Show them a ghost.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd enjoy that. Bonus points if you actually have a story to tell. Well, as for the actual reason why I'm here, and she looks back at you, Corona. This seems kind of timely given what just happened. So I figured, you're learning about, firearms and how they work. I
Right.
figured, since I've been in this camp for a little bit and I've had an opportunity to get some more supplies of slightly illicit natures through connections I've made. I've made a couple of things for you just in case. And she stretches up and moves away some of the straw on the top of the crate. And inside are on this top layer, you see two round metallic spheres, roughly the size of a baseball. They're wrapped with an iron band that clearly has a pin attached to one side. All right, well, you never saw me have to use one of these when we were dealing with some bandits, but there's no better way to put it. I call these as a kind of a joke. I call them fireballs. But it's probably just easier to call them what they are, which is grenades. They're small metal contraptions packed full of explosives. That when you she lifts one up and looks at the dangling pin. When you remove this, it triggers a magical rune that will ignite the internal the components, and it will detonate in a ball of fire. So typically, you do that, and then you throw it, and wherever it lands, everything within a good hefty radius. And she kind of uses like 2 points, 2 tables as points of reference from like there to there, scorched earth.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Emergencies only is what I would recommend. I can't exactly produce a lot of these, so do with them as you will.
I was not expecting this. I mean, I know you're gonna say nothing, but how much do I owe you?
Well,
'Cause this is great timing.
yes, I mean, same answer as before. If you can bring me back supplies whenever you guys go out, anything for smithing, it would make up the difference. Or, if you happen to find a couple of kegs of, dwarvish black powder, that would be super convenient. I doubt you will, though, so I'm not banking on it.
Is that the illicit stuff you were talking about, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's illicit because when idiots get a hold of it, it tends to just explode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Well,
just like, keep that in mind.
I
Preferably don't
will.
let one of these roll into a fire, like at camp or something. It won't go well. Good. It won't happen immediately, but if it happens and no one notices, a couple minutes later, boom.
Keep that in mind. These little things are that dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Vanya, I mean, if you insist, I'll definitely take them, and I'll keep a lookout. Thanks for looking out, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I'm not planning on going back to deal with the Novagern right away. So I figured, help those who help me a little until such a time that I leave, in which case then I'm going to need stuff for myself. But until then, I mean, if y'all survive, because I gave you these, all the better.
Hell, appreciate it. And Corona will kind of stretch her hand out for another one of those firm handshakes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, she does. Her hands are just as calloused and firm as ever.
Oh, and I see it's on my sheet now. Okay, perfect.
Yes, I have
Cool.
added 2 bombs to your sheet.
Nice. All right, you two were listening too, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it sounds simple enough that anyone could use these.
Mm-hmm. That's by design. The kind of a in between to help, deal with perhaps losses or range differences with spellcasters. Or if you find yourself being swarmed by fungus monsters.
Fungus monsters?
Yeah, it happens from time to time. Those little buggers pop up. I'm not saying it will happen to you, but just in case if it does, you have a perfect answer now.
I kind of want to insight that to see if she's just pulling our leg.
Go for it. Mm-hmm.
That's 21.
Wow. Okay. Uh, just the way Vanya carries herself, looking at her, yeah, she's being honest. Like this feels like it's spoken of from experience, or at least secondhand that she's heard.
Audie has a moment of like disbelief because it really sounds like something her mother would tell her to make sure that she's in by sundown kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she does a double take and go, "Oh, she's serious. Okay."
Well, depending on what we run into, I guess we could spread these out a little bit. Maybe Lilith might be a better, well, she might not be able to throw as far, but she probably has a better hand at throwing in general than I do. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, find them where they need to go. Just make use of them if you need to. Otherwise, yeah, don't let me don't let me interrupt your nice polite meal here. I've done what I've needed to do today, and I'm gonna go back and finish working on my other projects. By the way, Corona, if you ever want, I've set up a small little firing range just outside the camp. If you ever want to go practice some shots, I have 2 pistols that I've managed to put together that we could just use for practice, so you can get more familiar with them.
You have no idea how happy I am to hear that. I have not gone to practice shooting because I didn't want to bug anyone. But yeah, if you got something set up already, specifically for that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it's out of the way, so no one stumbles into us. And I've already talked to Covert about it, so he said it's fine. That he'd pass word around to people that patrol and stuff, not to be worried about the noise.
Well, then I guess I'll be seeing you there at some point.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, say hi to the others for me. I'll see y'all later. If not, I mean, you know where to find me. I'm up there working a forge at some point. Most of the time.
You wanna help carrying this stuff back? This crate's awfully large.
Nah, I'll be fine.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Yeah. All right, Gal. Good night.
Boy, nice to see ya.
She hoists the crate off the table, then turns, and then shoulders her way back through the crowd. And sometime around now is when Titan and Lilith are making their way towards you.
Well, well, look who's done getting beat.
You?
Well, that was hours ago.
Sorry to keep you all waiting.
No, you're fine.
You just missed Vanya.
Yep. How's she doing?
She seems all right. Came by to hit on Corona and give her bombs.
She just kind of like narrows her eyes. You know I don't swing that way.
I never asked, actually.
I think we might have to get Miss Ross here into the seductress. Her mind's a little addled.
I'm sorry, bombs?
The actual important takeaway.
Yeah. You guys want to sit down? I can explain how they work and stuff. It seems pretty simple.
Sure. Both will have a seat.
Corona will happily explain it over a meal, but I don't think it
Yep.
needs to be resaid.
Yeah. Yeah, they're fairly basic in usage wise, and both Titan and Lilith can have a order of food and drinks brought to you.
Lilith is getting some local fruity cocktail.
Oh, yeah, no problem. A Sapphonous sunset it is.
That was far too quick.
It's not that hard, but it is tricolored, like the sunset, and it is quite fruity. It's got a slice of grilled pineapple on the rim with a wooden sword that's skewering 3 cherries. And it's strong.
Scream seasoned adventure.
Yeah, it's very strong. But you don't notice how strong it is because of how well it's blended into all the other fruit.
Yeah, it's just juice.
It's just juice.
I drink like 5 of these. So, we're all here.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a mission discussing time?
I think it is.
Well,
We got-
I'll
I was just gonna say we kind of talked about it before you got here, so us 3 kind of have an idea. But yeah, why don't you go on ahead?
Well, I'll be honest. I went and trained with White Cross because I kind of assumed where most of our heads would be at. And go in to try and help the prisoners.
Only potential crook with that. I was talking with Covert earlier. He suggested if we're low on supplies that maybe the totem might be our ticket. But it's quite urgent also to get the family back. The rest of Greenwood and the others.
Was there a group sent out to the totem? I don't remember.
Haven't come back yet. Only been a day or two.
Probably best to wait until they come back so we know what to expect. that being said, you won't have to pull my arm to get me to go and experience history firsthand.
I mean, I think it sounds weird personally, but if it'll help us get gear that's a little bit better than what we got, then hard to complain about that. Just sounds strange to be. I don't know. The way they described it made it sound real weird.
Don't think we'll know exactly what it's like until we decide to go on one.
That's fair. I mean, maybe the group will come back with some more information anyway.
Yeah. What about you, Titan? Any thoughts?
I don't currently feel particularly hard done by on equipment. I'm very eager to go and rescue some of these prisoners.
Called it.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I feel like we're all pretty much agreed then.
That we are. We get our people back.
And I think maybe tomorrow I'll spend some time with Covert about that collar. See if I can understand it a bit before I head out.
Titan, you should take a look at them too.
Absolutely. That was my plan.
Oh. To a successful mission. And hold up her glass.
Here, here.
Bruno will raise her glass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Titan I'll toast too.
Clink noises.
Yeah.
And due to being painfully responsible, that's where we're gonna finish.
Seems a very appropriate freeze frame.
Everyone's going to be left holding up their drinks for a week.
Oh, and I just
My
finished
arm.
blocking a bunch of things with my well, it's gonna be so sore.
Oh, poor
Pretty
Lilith.
awful. Yeah. All right. So that out of the way, we know the mission that's been selected. The party is in fact going to go ambush the prisoner transport with a group of White Cross Company, and we'll get into that next week. Hey Ryan, thanks for the gift sub. Yeah, next week, which is, it's good and bad. It's like, getting to the mission would be super cool this week, but we didn't. But that means I can continue polishing all the stuff that I was working on that I managed to, throw together in the last 2 days. Work is really time consuming. That's how work is, I guess.
But you've been doing so good.
Yeah. For a job that's like, hey, you're going to get minimum 25 hours and it's probably going to be pretty consistent, and like maybe every once in a while you'll get a little more. Well, I've worked there for 2 weeks and both weeks have been like just shy of 40 hours. So yeah. Money. Yeah. So it's fun. Makes prepping for game, sadly, it makes it feel like a job because I have to sit down in a constrained time slot and go, all right, I have to do this by this time. But admittedly, it has made me insanely productive for preparing for game stuff. Like I was talking earlier that I got the map situated, like made the map from the ground up in like 90 minutes over 2 days, which was really good because it usually takes a long time. I usually fiddle a lot with stuff, but I fiddled less and it turned out better, so I'm not complaining.
You get 6 days of mental prep followed by 2 hours of actual physical prep.
Yeah. I won't lie to
True.
you. I do sit there and think about game stuff a lot when I'm not having to pay attention to learning new stuff. But yeah. So we'll pick up next week. I don't know why I always assume like I'm hesitating because I feel like I would know in advance if we wouldn't. So yeah, we'll see you next week. Again, thanks Ryan for the gift sub. Thanks for being here. Although we're leaving, so sad. Kate, do you have anybody lined up?
Yeah, it sounds like because we're finishing a little earlier that Dice and Autism are still in their game.
Nice.
So I think we can. Oh, actually, we haven't had the joy of being lined up with Dork Tales, and Kelly is someone we do in fact know. So I think we're gonna support him tonight.
Yeah, let's go to Kelly and his amazing cast of people who cosplay every single character they play in the 6 different games he runs every week.
Oh.
They're so awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how they
Delightful people to LARP with too. They're just great.
Yeah, it's great. Seriously, I think Kelly runs games more than he breathes. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, it's true. Seriously, like go look at his schedule that they post every week. It's packed. I don't know. I literally don't know where he finds time to do it. Anyway, he's amazing. And like I said, so are the cast members. And again, their costumes and their storytelling. And in general, it's just very fun and enjoyable to watch. So yeah, let's go over to Dork Tales. Send us away. And we'll see you. Right. Yeah. Like Roz this session, but not last session. Make your choices. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out, chat. Appreciate you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're going.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, we did.
We're free.
Hooray, just in time to catch them not being here.
My guess is they're probably on a break.
What great timing.
Thanks for running, Dare.
Yeah,
no
thank
problem.
Yeah. Thanks.
And next week, we break stuff.
Yeah.
Yay. Excited to go on a mission again.
Fine.
Let's smash.
And if all goes well, there might even be a level up. Maybe. We'll see.
That would be pretty awesome.
Oh, I'd have to make a choice real fast.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm
do I.
I'm going to be giving you except like Sam's got harder like
It's true.
conundrums to deal with in order to answer that. But don't worry, you've got some stuff that I can give you before you go because you got to go to sleep tonight. That sounded like a threat, but